Welcome to What We Watch, Doing OK's entertainment show. Today we are discussing some Marvel Entertainment television news, which will lead us into the sad question: will Disney Plus eventually lead to the death of Marvel's Cloak and Dagger and Runaways? Let's get into it. I'm Dan.
I'm Olga, and today we're going to be starting with some breaking news.
Not really.
From Collider.
It's kind of basic news that then I'm going to extrapolate a bigger question from.
I'm trying to build tension, Dan. This is a Collider article titled Marvel TV to reportedly phase out live action to focus on animation. After plans for a Ghost Rider series on Hulu were officially nixed, it's starting to look more and more like the entire Marvel television experiment will flame out.
Ooh.
A new report from Variety goes into detail on the major differences between the Kevin Feige-led Marvel Studios produced series coming to the Disney streamer and Jeff Loeb's slate of live-action Marvel shows, which has been whittled down to Hulu's Runaways, Freeform's Cloak and Dagger, and the upcoming Hellstrom.
We'll see if that happens.
If that even, if it remains upcoming.
Yeah.
The main difference is simply a matter of presentation. When Disney Plus debuts in November, it'll eventually play home to live-action MCU series Loki, WandaVision, Hawkeye, and Falcon and Winter Soldier,
and a bunch of other ones that they didn't mention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which will not only weave through the main Marvel stories on a narrative level, but will also look like they could be released in theaters.
Hot damn.
So,
tell me why, babe.
The Disney Plus series, each aiming for 6 to 8 episodes, will reportedly have budgets similar to their big screen brethren, which typically run in the $100 to $150 million range. To compare, the first seasons of Netflix's Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist cost $200 million altogether.
Yeah.
Dang.
So these are going to be big
That's some
poppers.
penny pinching.
These are going to be some big pop. I mean, considering I feel like we are very rarely like, oh, the budget of the Marvel Netflix shows is so minimal. Like,
yeah.
They looked a lot more high-end than a lot of other TV shows.
Yeah. In the wake of the mind-bogglingly bad Inhumans fiasco in 2017, try to say that 5 times fast.
Mind-boggling bad?
No. Don't actually. Anyway. The Gifted wrapping up after 2 seasons and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming to a close after 2020's season 7. It certainly looks like the future of Marvel television, if anything, is in animation. Besides Hellstrom, the only shows the studio has in the works are the animated quartet Howard the Duck, MODOK, yeah. Hit Monkey, and Tigra and Dazzler, which Loeb currently plans to eventually bring together in The Offenders.
I'm still like, I have trouble even buying that those animated shows are happening.
Yeah.
Well, at least all of them. Like, why are you doing the whole Netflix thing again where you're like, we're going to plan 4 different ones? Like, just do Howard the Duck and see how that goes.
I'll be honest. I feel like I see why this article is kind of like saying, okay, the non-Feige era of the Jeff Loeb era. Yeah. I don't know much about him.
He's basically been the one who's been trying to spearhead everything. And the issues between him and Feige, from what I've heard, are what have caused a lot of like the issues with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. specifically was like one of the ones that was like really trying to tie into the movies, but like Feige didn't really want to deal with the television shows, right. And he didn't really... I don't think Feige ever like respected the TV shows. I don't think that's subjective. I'm just saying that's how I've come off of it. And I don't think that he wanted a whole bunch of other things happening over here that were supposed to tie into his stuff, but that he had no time or energy or whatever to really put his hands into.
Right.
And it felt like a bunch of desperate elements. And I mean, here's the thing, like some of them were good, some of them were bad. Some of them felt like they tied in more. Some of them were like just vaguely tied into things. Mm-hmm. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think, is like, it was pretty tied in, and then suddenly it really kind of wasn't. And then like, so there
was a behind the scenes shift.
There's a bunch of creative differences and stuff. I suppose that if the Jeff Loeb stuff goes totally into animation, that I could see that, I guess, continuing, but I just have trouble picturing 5 animated Marvel shows all that are all like adult rated comedies or mostly.
Would they live on Hulu?
Yeah, I mean that's been the plan for a few months now, or maybe a year or whatever when they announced that slate. I just would be shocked if all of that happened. So I don't think that's happening. Hellstrom, they're saying, is still on like on track or whatever. The only way I can imagine that really happening is if they like pretty thoroughly divorce it from being a Marvel show. Because it's not like anybody has name recognition for that property as being anything Marvel anyway. And then again, the biggest thing we're talking about here is Cloak and Dagger and Runaways.
Yeah.
So Runaways has its third season coming out in December, which we have confirmed as to having a crossover with Cloak and Dagger.
Right. I've only seen the first season of Cloak and Dagger. I've yet to catch up on season 2, but I'm caught up on both seasons of Runaways.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I'm going to say for and I think I said it to you already before, is Cloak and Dagger season 2 ends with them heading off, leaving where they are.
Right.
So they're going on a journey or whatever. So you could take away from that the fact that they're doing the crossover as, oh, that's good news. That seems like they want to continue the Cloak and Dagger world, right?
Also, the shows have bled into each other a bit before.
Yeah.
So
and fans just usually people who are fans of one of them are fans of the other one because they're very similar-ish type shows. At the same time, they have yet to announce an actual renewal for Freeform's Cloak and Dagger. As far as I know, I looked around. It seems like maybe there are rumors and stuff.
That's worrying.
Yeah, I guess, and the ratings for season 2 were a little bit lower. I'm sure it's doing okay on Freeform standards, but I also don't think Feige wants them hanging around.
Freeform has more of a, it has more of the teen dramedy connotation to it, and not to discount the shows, because I do think they have things of value, and not to discount that genre either, but that's not the tone of the movies. That's not the tone of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from what I've seen of it. Yeah. And I have a hard time, and that's not even a tone that I would generally associate with Hulu.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd say that Runaways feels like a bit of an outlier on Hulu too, except that I also just kind of think Hulu doesn't have much of an identity in general right now. I feel like it's trying to figure out what its identity is. Yeah,
but if you were to ask me what its identity is for its own shows, the last thing I would say would be
Runaways.
Teen drama.
Well, I mean, they're about to put the Looking for Alaska out.
But that's not yet.
Yeah, but I think here's the thing. Mm-hmm. And no offense to Runaways, which I do enjoy, Looking for Alaska, just watching the trailer, is much more prestige television than Runaways. Even though that's about teens, it's not. It's treated with a little more gravitas than Runaways is. Runaways really is a classic, Freeform or CW type show.
Yeah. And we're fans of CW shows and Freeform shows. It's just it has a very specific look to it that is very different from the Netflix Marvel too, that also has that gravitas.
Yeah. And they've definitely tied Cloak and Dagger to Luke Cage a number of times. And also, therefore, by bringing them into Runaways, they're tying Runaways into the Netflix stuff. It's all old stuff. Mm-hmm. Disney doesn't want the old stuff anymore. I just don't see... I feel like what we're going to see with Hulu is a couple months after the season ends, they're going to do what they did with all of the Netflix stuff, which is, okay, that was the last season, guys. I'm glad you watched it before we told you that. It's... Yeah. I have trouble seeing another season of Cloak and Dagger, and I have trouble seeing Runaways going beyond that third season. I hope I'm wrong, but at the same time, I don't feel like either show has fully hit its potential point. It's not like they're critical darlings or anything. They're just kind of hanging out. They have their audiences, and those audiences will probably move over to WandaVision, or Miss Marvel that's coming out,
The thing that frustrates me more is, I wish I could be more up in arms about this than I am. I was pretty up in arms about Daredevil not getting another. What are you doing?
Up in arms.
It was something when you were pantomiming while I was reading and I was just talking. But yeah, it was one thing when it's a show like Daredevil where it felt
fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was just so great. Yeah. And Luke Cage, that also everyone was saying okay, Luke is going on a journey and it's just done, and he doesn't get to complete the journey. And the only show that really felt like it knew that it was ending and could do it was Jessica Jones.
And a little bit Punisher.
A little, yeah. But even so, even Jessica Jones, I'm like, but I still want more of this character.
Yeah.
So it's this thing of like, for the flaws of those shows that to me are usually like pacing issues, that's very different from what I consider the flaws of the freeform shows, which are more just like, why are these characters making these choices right now?
Yeah. And they always did seem like they were held back by budgets, for sure.
Yeah.
I think I prefer Cloak and Dagger overall. You never got to season 2.
Yeah.
I think it would be more of a shame to me if Cloak and Dagger didn't get another season. I think Runaways, I hope, hits it out of the park on their 3rd season and ends with a bang. Hopefully they don't end with a whimper. And if they have a good season, then they get another one. That's great. Cloak and Dagger, I think the biggest missed thing here would be if the 2 leads just never get together. They could do something with that in the crossover episode. I don't know. But I feel like if they never got to explore that, that would be a pretty big bummer for a lot of people. I guess, it just seems like that would seem like a huge missed opportunity. And I do think that they built this crossover when they had, Disney's a huge beast, multiple heads talking to each other. I'm sure there were 2, the Runaways head and the Cloak and Dagger head were like, hey, our fans want this to happen, let's make it happen. Doesn't mean that over here Kevin Feige was paying them the closest attention, and then it was like, what are they doing? They're like, and it's, I think what are the tea leaves? I don't know what I'm looking for.
Reading the leaves.
Yeah, they're dead.
Yeah. I mean, also, again, the thing of the future of Marvel television being animation, I'm not there. Yeah. I'm not there. I'm not ready to say that that's
I just think the future of Marvel television is not, as it was, is not existing.
Yeah.
I think the future of Marvel television is Kevin Feige.
And Disney Plus.
Yeah, and Disney Plus. I think, yes, they still have, ABC, they have Hulu, they have Freeform. To a certain degree, it makes sense to spread out the love. But also, Marvel is a huge pillar right there on the front page of Disney Plus. And how many Marvel TV shows do you need?
I think I honestly just feel like it makes sense to localize them.
Yeah.
Make the family-friendly ones be a Disney Plus exclusive, and make hopefully, again, the more adult ones be Hulu.
I just don't think you want brand confusion. I think you want it to be clear, hey, from now on, if you see a Marvel show, it's in the MCU, it has a high budget, it's worth your time. And I don't think, as much as I care about these shows and about some of I love the Netflix stuff, I feel like we're at where we're at now, and it's not a smart business move to do anything other than the Disney Plus stuff.
And you want people to pay for your service.
Yeah. I just don't even think that as a consumer, I need more than like the 8 shows they've announced so far.
I honestly feel overwhelmed. So the idea of it all just being in one place feels a lot less stressful.
And to a certain degree,
and more likely for me to look at it and check it.
And that's the thing is, if there are 8 shows over here that are actually important or canon or whatever, and then there's 2 shows over here that aren't, are you really going to waste your time on those? Like, that's the thing.
Nope.
All right. I think that's the general.
We've made our thoughts.
Yeah.
Clear.
I certainly have other thoughts about, like, I will miss the Netflix stuff. I do hope we still get some darker, more adult-driven things.
Absolutely.
But yeah, as far as Cloak and Dagger and Runaways are concerned, I think prepare yourself for the worst. That's all I can say.
As a pessimist, I'm always there.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching this episode of What We Watch. If you haven't noticed, we've revamped the idea of what we watch slightly. We're not going to do a certain number of topics every week. We're just kind of putting everything under the umbrella that whenever we're talking about news or trailers or reviews, we're going to call it What We Watch, have that as a playlist, and not have to break it up into specific topics. Thank you, guys. Leave us your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think we're wrong? Is there things we missed in the news and such? And I hope you're doing okay.
Bye.